YouTube, what's poppin'? Today we're looking at the most sadistic cult in American history. Let's see what they talking about, man.
In the early 1980s, the city of Chicago was plagued by a nightmarish series of horrific serial murders.
Chi-town?
After being chosen at random, the victims were kidnapped, mutilated, often murdered, then dumped in various locations around the city.
Wow.
What you're about to hear is extremely disturbing and is most certainly not for the faint of heart.
I'm ready.
This is the story of the Ripper Crew.
Let's get it. Showtime. The Ripper Crew, huh? Okay, I'm feeling the little intro, thematic entrance. I'm ready for this one. I'm ready. Or is it cinematic?
On May 23rd of 1981, 28-year-old Linda Sutton was declared missing by deeply concerned relatives. Just 10 days later, her mutilated corpse was found in a field in the Chicago suburb of Villa Park. Whoever had killed her had taken the time to slice off her left breast as a trophy of their grisly endeavor. The following year...
The left breast as a trophy? Hey man, every time I watch these type of videos, I'm always left speechless. I think I might need to find a new word at this point because it's just crazy. Why the left breast and not the right breast though? I'm not gonna lie, I could have worded that better. I had no wrong intentions with what I said, but what I really meant to say was, why even cut out any breast at all, whether it's the left or right one? But I was kind of intrigued to know, like, was it a particular message behind the left breast? Like, why is it that one? That's what I was trying to say, you know, but I'm sorry if y'all take it the wrong way. I didn't mean it with any wrong intentions, and I apologize to the victims and the family that's suffering from this, you know. I meant it with no ill will at all. Please do not take it the wrong way. And I'm going to leave this in the video, though. I'm going to leave this in the video. But yeah, that's my main question to the killer, man. Why?
During the early morning of May 15th of 1982, Lorraine Borofsky was
the killer
opening up
left-handed?
her realtor's office when she was snatched right off the street. 5 months later, her body was found lying on top of a grave in a Clarendon Hills cemetery, also with the left breast removed. 2
It's a
weeks
cycle.
later, a woman by the name of Shui Mack was abducted from Hanover Park, and when her body was found 4 months later, police were forced to accept that they had a serial killer on their hands when they found that the same gruesome amputation had been performed. Just a few weeks later, the killer struck again, dragging a young woman named Angel York into his van before he handcuffed her. Miraculously,
The left
Angel
breast
wasn't
too?
murdered, but suffered horrific injuries when the killer slashed at her left breast with a knife before tossing her out of the moving van.
So the killer has something going for the left breast. I don't know if it turns him or she on, but why the left breast though? Any breast is crazy. Really, to be in this situation is crazy. First off, let me send my condolences to the family, even though this happened a long time ago. Still though, prayers up, blessings up to the family who had to suffer the consequences of this very gruesome fatality. Yeah. But why is he going for? I keep thinking it's he, but why is it going for the left breast though? That's what I want to know.
Angel was in the hospital when she was interviewed by the Chicago police detectives who were assigned to the murders, and it was then that she told them something truly chilling. The killer wasn't just some lone maniac targeting vulnerable females. He was being assisted by up to 3 additional accomplices. Angel was able to provide detailed descriptions of each of the suspects, but while detectives were scouring the profiles of known criminals, they were able to kill again. On August 28th of 1982, the body of Sandra Delaware was discovered on the bank of the Chicago River. She had been strangled and stabbed to death, and just like the other victims, her left breast was amputated. This was followed by the discovery of 31-year-old Rose Davis's body on September 8th. She had suffered identical injuries to the other victims, with the same signature amputation having been performed. There wasn't a break in the investigation until December 6th of 1982, when a woman named Beverly Washington was found lying unconscious by a railroad track. She had multiple stab wounds and her left breast had been cut off, but somehow she was still alive. Once she regained consciousness, she was able to give highly detailed descriptions not just of the suspects, but also of the vehicle they were using to abduct their victims. The van was traced to a man named David Gecht, who was promptly arrested on suspicion of murder.
I knew it was a
Police
he.
believed they'd be able to collate sufficient evidence to convict him during his initial period of detention. Yet to their frustration, they fell short and were forced to release Gecht after just a few days. Following his release, detectives worked night and day in order to compile more evidence, and Gecht's undoing finally came in the form of a motel receipt. Police were able to track down the motel's owner, who gave a lengthy testimony detailing Gecht's stay at his establishment. He had rented 3 adjoining rooms with 2 friends of his, holding a loud, raucous party late into the night. But that wasn't all. The detectives were deeply unsettled to hear that the motel owner believed Gecht to be involved in some type of cult. After hearing that Gecht was the main suspect in a murder case, the motel owner happily provided police with the names of his friends, those being Edward Spreitzer and 2 brothers named Andrew and Thomas Cocorellis.
Ain't gonna lie, they definitely look like some serial killers. I know I'm not the only one that thinks this, but they do look kind of crazy.
After the police picked up Thomas Cocorellis, they forced him to confess that he and the others had taken women back to Gecht's motel room. How the man himself referred to the motel as a satanic chapel. It was there that they drove their kidnapped victims after snatching them from off the street. And although the motel owner had heard loud music coming from the men's rooms, it was merely a way of drowning out the woman's screams as they were beaten, violated, and murdered and mutilated. Thomas Cocorellis claimed that David Gecht was the one responsible for the breast amputation. After removing them from his deceased victims, Gecht would slice off pieces of the amputated breast before eating them raw, telling the others it was a kind of satanic ritual that they should also partake of. Following this, he would place the severed breasts in a sealed box.
So this killer, serial killer, yes, another serial killer, would take his victim's breast, the female breast, he would amputate it off and eat it? Are you serious, man? I'm telling you, bruh. You gotta scan these brains. These are not normal people. If anything, they're abnormal. Yeah, abnormal at this point. They're not of this earth. Come on, man.
Thomas Cocorellis claimed to have personally witnessed the contents of this box and claimed that there were no less than 15 severed breasts in it. He also claimed that Gecht would have his way with the dead bodies of his deceased victims. Gecht was clearly a maniac, but he was also highly intelligent and managed to conceal enough evidence that it was impossible to directly charge him with murder. Instead, he was charged with attempted murder, aggravated kidnapping, and deviant assaults for the attack of Beverly Washington, and was convicted in 1983. Before sentencing him to 120 years in prison, Judge Francis J. Mahone told Gecht not even an animal would do these things. Only a devil or a monster would.
Monster!
Next came the trials of Gecht's 3 accomplices, starting with Edward Spreitzer in 1984. Spreitzer admitted that on October 6th of 1982, the gang shot 28-year-old Rafael Tirado and his friend Alberto Rosario at a phone booth in a random drive-by shooting. According to Spreitzer, he was driving Gecht's van with Gecht in the passenger seat when he was ordered to slow down. Gecht then took 2 guns from a rear seat, told Spreitzer to stop the van, then opened fire on Tirado and Rosario. Rosario survived being shot, but tragically, Tirado succumbed to his wounds at the hospital in the hours that followed. In a bid to avoid the death penalty, Spritzer pled guilty to the murders of 4 of the gang's victims, as well as on the lesser charges of attempted murder and aggravated kidnapping. During the sentencing phase, Spritzer's attorney argued that he was a junior member of the Ripper crew and was acting purely on the orders of David Gecht. She claimed Spritzer was immature, impulsive, and simplistic, a man who would do almost anything to please his friend.
Nah. Can't use that excuse. You your own man. You make your own decisions. Can't nobody force you to do something. Only you are capable of the actions that you choose to make. Yeah. Come on, man. Talking about some, I was forced to do. No. You did it by yourself. You made that choice. Yeah, you made that, man.
On the other hand, called Spritzer
can't get out of this one.
Every woman's worst nightmare, and labeled his accomplices cowardly weasels who roamed in packs to prey on women. His attempt was successful, and the judicial system took mercy on him, sentencing him to life in prison without the possibility of parole as opposed to the death penalty. In 1985, it was Andrew Kokorales' turn to be convicted of murder, assault, and aggravated kidnapping. The prosecution once again sought a death sentence, yet during the sentencing phase, Kokorales' defense attorney took a similar approach as Spritzer's, claiming that his client had been a follower, not an organizer. Once again, the tactic worked, and the jury spared Andrew's life after deliberating for just an hour and a half. Instead of receiving the death penalty, he too was sentenced to life in prison without parole. However, 2 years later, Andrew was tried for the death of Lorraine Borofsky, and the details of her kidnapping, violation, and murder were too much for the court to hear. It was convincingly argued that Andrew had engaged in inappropriate actions with a dead body, and in light of this and many other perverse details, he was sentenced to death.
Inappropriate actions?
On the day that he was due to be executed, Andrew declined the offer of a last meal, with his last words being, "To the Borofsky family, I am truly sorry for your loss. I mean this sincerely." He then recited a verse from the Bible, "Repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand." As reward for his detailed confession, Thomas Kokorales also managed to avoid the death penalty. At the time of his arrest, Thomas Kokorales was a painter with no criminal record, meaning his trial judge took a degree of mercy on him that his accomplices did not receive. With an IQ of 75, he was described as having a borderline range of intellect, and was said to be more motivated by fear than any kind of perverted desire. Thomas pled guilty to Borofsky's murder, taking the death penalty off the table in exchange for a 70-year jail sentence. But following good behavior and a successful parole, he was released from prison on March 29, 2019. As of June 30th, 2019, Thomas resides in Aurora, Illinois. And in an interview with a local news station, Thomas begged the public to change the perception of him, stating, "Everybody thinks I'm a monster, but I'm not a monster." Despite his pleas, it's both perfectly reasonable and understandable to view Thomas Kokorales as a profane and predatory monster. After all, he was a willing participant in some of the most heinous and horrific murders the city of Chicago has ever known. Thomas was well aware that David Gecht was practicing cannibalism and inappropriate actions with dead bodies, all in the name of Satan, and he didn't do a thing to stop it. His moral grandstanding means nothing when he allowed dozens of innocent women to be subjected to some of the most despicable treatment imaginable. The legacy of the Ripper crew is the stuff of nightmares, something that none of us are sure to forget in a hurry. But unlike similar cases, there is no comfort to be taken in knowing that the perpetrators are all behind bars or 6 feet under. And that's because a member of one of the world's most horrific snuff gangs is free to walk among us, having caused untold agony, having taken the lives of the innocent, and potentially having tasted human flesh.
Hey friends, thanks so much for watching.
I just want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's your boy Scotty Love. And last but not least, I'm gone.